3 empowering questions that you can ask yourself in any situation, especially the tough ones. So this is the topic of today's Instagram Live. We are on day 9 of 14 days of Embodied Radiance Activations. Every day I'm dropping in some gold for you on the IG feed to help you feel more radiant, more alive, more authentic, more real, more confident in all areas of your life, in love, in business, and especially, most importantly, your relationship with yourself. And I've just been loving it. So I hope that you're loving it too. I'm just seeing everybody join here, some familiar friends, and some of you have been coming on every day. So thank you so much. Feel free to wave or say hello. And yeah, I love that we get to do this every day. So today's question is all about how to empower yourself. And why is empowering yourself so important in this topic of radiance? You know this feeling, and maybe you've seen this before, where you're in a room and it's full of people, like a restaurant or an event or something, and then somebody walks into the room and all of a sudden everything goes a little bit more quiet, some heads start to turn, and you're like, oh wow, this person just walked in. And you may or may not even know who that person is, but there's just this aura about them that exudes confidence, self-assuredness, not needing approval from anyone, but just simply being the radiance that you are. And there's something so magnetic about this quality of person. And I want to share with you a few stories which just hopefully will inspire you, that just came from the most recent Untamed Wild Feminine that just ended here in Zurich on Wednesday night. And I share these with you to inspire you, and then that will also lead into the 3 questions that I'm going to share with you today, which will support you in many different situations, including the tough ones. So in Untamed, we have 5 core pillars that we look at, 5 core sessions. And in the first session, it's all about coming home to your body and the wisdom of your body, like really reclaiming the parts of you that maybe you have tried to hide or you don't love about yourself, or when you look past a mirror, you're like, oh, I wish that was different. Or maybe you go past a mirror, you can't even look at yourself because it's just like full of self-judgment. So this is a really common thing that happens with a lot of people, especially women. And I had one woman came into Untamed, and the first day she was just like, oh, body, like feeling so insecure, The next week when we met after we did this Reclaiming Your Body session, she came back and she said, you guys won't believe it. This weekend, I was at a party with all of my friends, and I walked in and everybody just looked at me and their jaws just went. And immediately she thought, there must be something wrong with me. Like, maybe it's my hair, or like I put on lipstick today, maybe I didn't do it well. So she got super self-conscious, and then she went to the bathroom. She looked at herself in the mirror, was like, oh my God, I am a bombshell. I'm gorgeous. She was stunned at the beauty and the radiance of her own being. Not because she had put on any special outfit or lipstick or something in particular, but just the way that she was carrying herself. She could barely recognize herself in how much she was glowing. And that was just after one session, 4 hours of being together. So you can imagine what happened in the 5 weeks that we were together. And I hear stories of this of women all the time. Another woman in Untamed just finished, and she said this morning, she walked into the boardroom and everybody was like, something's different about you. Like the way that you're standing, the way that you're taking up space, the way that you're speaking, everything is so different. Like, what happened? And when I tune into the women of Untamed and I say, well, what did happen? Their answer is always, well, I did Untamed. And deeper than that is that I gained my own self-confidence back. I learned to not give two flippin' F's about what anybody else thinks. I am just in me now. I'm not questioning everything that I'm saying. I'm not wondering if what I'm wearing is okay. I'm not double guessing my questions all the time. I am just being me. And I am connected to my feminine. I'm connected to my own energy, the power of my own essence without needing to do anything, without needing approval, without needing to be successful, without needing something from somebody else to validate my own self-worth. And sisters, when you get this, everything in life changes. Everything. I had another woman, which is a story for another time, but essentially she went from being terrified to date and call in the man that she really wants to in her first session, all the way to the end where she literally was standing in the middle of a train station and she had men handing her their phone numbers, like wild, you know? And she wasn't trying to get that. It was just happening. And of course, the only thing that changed in those 5 weeks was her. And when you can connect to being this empowered place inside yourself, life changes. It's not that anything in life changed, it's that you changed. And when you're connected to the radiance of your own being, especially your feminine radiance, which isn't out there trying to get something outside of you, but it's like the sun just shines, right? The sun doesn't need anything to happen. It just shines brightly because it is. And you can't like not even see it because it's so bright. It's just there, right? That is the magnetic and the magnificence of feminine radiance. So why I wanted to share all this was because there are 3 questions that I really love to ask myself. And I love to offer to my coaching clients, whether it's I'm coaching a woman to be more connected to her feminine radiance, or I'm working with a couple who want to cultivate their love relationship, or working with a woman who is building her own soul-led business. These are 3 questions that will move you from feeling in self-doubt or not good enough or not worthy enough to feeling empowered and also having a clear next action step. And I love being able to share these because everything in my work that I share is an alchemy between your feminine, which is this kind of radiance, being, authenticity, and then the masculine, which offers more structure and direction and alignment. One without the other, or one imbalancing the other, often throws things off and will leave you feeling misaligned and like something is missing or something's not quite right. So these 3 questions are going to give you a beautiful balance of both the feminine and the masculine in order for you to anchor into your empowered self. All right. If you have any questions along the way, if you have some aha moments, if you have like an insight or a gem that you want to get or that you're taking away from this session, please pop it into the comments. It's always so helpful for each other to see what you're learning. It's helpful for me to know what's landing and resonating with you, and I can riff a little bit more if you've got some more questions. And also, if you comment every day for the 14 days, you're also entered into a draw to win a free ticket to the Feminine Radiance Retreat, which is happening in Calgary, April 28th. It's really soon, so make sure you grab your ticket and grab a friend while you're at it. It's going to be a gorgeous day. Or if you can't be there, you can also win a one-on-one coaching session with me. So there we go. All right, so hang on, I'm just gonna look in the comments. Thank you, Alice, you are radiant yourself. Oh, thank you. Yeah, you know, it was quite a journey to get here, honestly. There have been many moments in my life when I really did not feel radiant at all, like apathetic, depressed, chronic illness, dead-end marriage, hustling my ass off, like just worn out. Yeah, I had adrenal fatigue at one point, like exhausted all the time. So it's been a real journey to get here. So thank you for acknowledging that. And that's why I'm here to hopefully inspire people like yourself to access more of your radiance, because life is so precious. And when we limit ourselves because we aren't brave enough to be fully who we are, we just simply haven't had the tools or the support to do that. I think it's a missed opportunity in having a really amazing life where you feel fully alive. Okay, so here we go, 3 questions. The first one is, what are you celebrating? what are you celebrating? What is a win that you have in your life right now? Always start with something that's working. Yeah, because there's always something that is working. So for example, if you've got a tough situation where you're moving through right now, maybe you're, like for example, maybe you want to finally quit your corporate job because it's just like not serving you in your heart. And instead you're like, okay, I'm ready to finally launch my business that turns me on, that I know makes a difference, that helps other people, that I'm so passionate about, and I want to do that. But you're not having like, you haven't quite made that move yet. Like you're like, oh, I'm in this limbo in between and I don't know if I can do it. And it can feel really overwhelming. Like, okay, how do I even start? So always start with a celebration. Okay, I am celebrating, for example, that I've gained 10 years of corporate experience. I'm celebrating that I have managed a team and know how to be a leader in life. I'm celebrating that I have learned these skills in accounting. I don't know what it is, that are going to serve me in the future. And I'm celebrating that I've been a really devoted person in my role, So these are celebrations. I'm celebrating that I've had a steady job for X number of years that have provided stability for my family and a little nest that now I can invest in my own personal growth and development and for the things that really matter, right? So I'm just giving you some examples. So always start with what are you celebrating? What is working? Okay, next question is, what am I learning? Okay, so what are you learning in this moment? I'm learning that working a job that I'm not lit up about every day is exhausting me. I'm learning that there are other options on how I can create abundance in my life that doesn't involve working 9 to 5. I'm learning that I actually hate working with numbers and I don't want to do that anymore. I'm actually learning a ton of people skills. I'm learning how to be braver and more courageous and make decisions that come from my heart rather than from my brain, which needs safety. Yeah, so the what are you learning question, it can also be framed like, where are you growing? What is your growing edge? Where are the places where are you being asked to be called up in your life? What are you rising into? Yeah, so this is the what are you learning question. And then the last question, really important one, especially for women who aren't used to asking for support, is what do I need to be supported in this moment? Yeah, so in this example of like if you left a corporate job and you're just are wanting to leave a corporate job and you want to start your own business, you don't know where. Okay, so what do you need in order to feel supported in this moment to make that jump? Do you need to talk to your spouse and see if there's a way that you can take off some amount of time to be able to give this a go? Do you need the support of your family to understand that, the division of responsibilities in the family need to shift in order for you to give your dream job a go? Do you need to take a course? Like, do you have business skills? Do you need a mentor, somebody who has actually done this before that can walk you through it? Do you need to go have a coffee date with a friend who has done this before and ask her for her advice? Do you need to, what do you need in order to feel supported? Maybe you need the support of yourself, to do some inner child work, to be like, okay, the one who feels like she's not enough, can you sit with that part of you? Can you support yourself to feel confident enough to at least take a risk in the first step? Yeah. You can also go back to the video from yesterday, which was all about fear and excitement and courage. Yeah. So how to go and make that first step. So that might be, okay, what do I need to be supported? Okay, I need to go back to Alice's radiance activation from yesterday and really tune into that. So the support question is so important because many times we feel like we have to do everything alone. And that's where it gets super, super overwhelming. right? And then when things get overwhelming, it's hard for us to really feel like we're making steps in the right direction. And that doesn't support the feeling of being empowered. It can actually feel like disempowering because you're like, shoot, like I'm not getting all the things done that I want. If you feel that way, then go back to question number 1. What are you celebrating? Question number 2, what are you learning? Question number 3, what do you need to feel supported in this moment? Yeah? So those are the 3 questions. Let me know if you have any questions, thoughts, or like, how is this landing for you? Pop them into the comments. I'd love to hear. And I'm going to give you another really, what I hope to be relatable example. But I just want to speak to the support part. I have been really, you could say lucky, but I've also made this as a conscious choice in my life to always have mentors. Since I was young, I've had mentors in my life. And I remember even in my yoga teacher training days, you know, like I got asked from my students to teach yoga teacher training really early on in my career. And although I really wanted to do it, I was like, I need help. Like, I don't know how to do this alone and I don't want to, you know? So I actually asked my yoga teacher at that time, who was already running teacher trainings, if we could do it together. And she said, yes, of course. And I kind of had this magnetism of being able to have like lots of people who wanted to do trainings with me. And she really had like 20 years more skills than I did. So I sat next to her and we ended up teaching these together until we co-taught. And then I became also co-director of the yoga school. When I started leading women's trainings or women's circles, I sat with who is now my best friend in the world, Joni Tavener, who's amazing. And we ran women's circles together. And I sat next to her, like soaking up everything like a sponge, and then also bringing in my own magic so that I could be mentored into this role. When I started my own business, you know, I fumbled around for years, just like making tons and tons of mistakes, getting so frustrated up until 3 a.m. trying to figure out this newsletter, you know? And then it was like, Alice, hire a business mentor, like do the same thing that you've done with everything else. So then that's when I started investing in business mentorship and coaching and training. And that's what really moved the needle for me. So if you are somebody who is looking for a mentor, Kareen, yes, you've always been my mentor. I adore you so much, Kareen. We've learned and grown so much together, you and I, over the years. So yeah, thank you for that. So if you are looking for mentorship, just know that I do have a few spots open. And if what I'm sharing and this all lands and resonates with you, feel free to reach out in a DM. I do mentorship for personal stuff. I do mentorship for relationships, and I do mentorship for business. And what I do have coming up is a Business of Alchemy mini mind. We're calling it a mini mind because last year and the years before I used to do this training for like 8 to 12 women. And this year I'm curating a tiny group, like 4 to 6 women, to come into this training with me, where you get high level touch and support. You get my one-on-one attention. You get group feedback. Like, it's going to be so, so good. We're going to move waves in that 8 weeks. And it's like amazing group coaching at a fraction of the cost of my private coaching. And that one we want to start in May. So if that lights you up in any way, feel free to drop me a DM. Just write Alchemy and I'll leave you a voice note after that and I'll share all the details with you. Yeah. Okay, so last, should I give you another example? Do you want one of the 3 questions? What are you celebrating? What are you learning? And what support do you need? Yeah, so I'm going to give you a relationship example. If you're having challenges in a relationship, it can be your partner or a lover or a friend, or it could be your parents, or it could be your kids. It could be any relationship. These 3 questions also apply. So, for example, my husband and I have been together for 8 years. And for many of these years, we were in an open relationship, which, like, a whole other ball game. So challenging. So much learning going on. And when we used to have situations where it was like, you know, I had a desire to, spend more time with somebody else, or he does, and it was triggering the other person, then you can come back to these questions, right? So what are we celebrating? Okay, we're celebrating that we have aligned values, that we both feel aligned, that we want to bring curiosity into our relationship, that we want to bring a sense of freedom for ourselves and for each other, and that it's also really important that we feel safe, right? So we have taken time in our relationship to really tune into what are the values that we both stand for in our relationship. And truth, love, freedom are 3 big values for us. Of course, freedom can always mean a different thing. Love means different things. Truth means different things in different moments. So it's really difficult sometimes. But we would always check in, okay, well, what are we celebrating? What are we aligned on? Yeah. And that was also really clear. We're celebrating also that we've been in X number of years of relationship. We're celebrating that we're deeply committed to growing and to learning together. So that would be question number 1. Question number 2 is, what are we learning? Okay, we're learning how to be truthful even when it's difficult. I'm learning to share my feelings with you even if I sense that you're disappointed, and I'm going to choose to share it even though it's uncomfortable for me to sit with your discomfort. I am learning that I have jealousy. I'm learning that I'm deeply sensitive. I'm learning that maybe actually I don't want to be in an open relationship. I'm learning that, maybe I don't want to know everything that you're doing. Like, there could be so many learnings that are happening. But then really tap into that. Okay, and then what do I or we need to feel supported? Right? So many times it was also, it all just comes back down to community for me anyways. What we need is a supportive friend or therapist or counselor or community that has done this before, that we can actually go to with our questions. Like, we spent so many years just trying to fumble around in this open relating field by ourselves, and it was like horrible. If I was to do it again, I would have never done that way. I would get guidance, and I would have more cultivate a community around me that I could actually talk about this sooner. We now have that, but at the beginning we didn't. So that was something that we needed. We realized that we needed to each have a go-to person that we can talk to about our connections with other people or the challenges that we were having, that we couldn't just be in it together, because then we would just loop in a cycle of hurt and wounding and triggering. So we discovered that what we need to feel supported is actually an extended community and friend group, a person, each of us separately, that we can go and talk to. We learned that to be supported at one point, we needed to go see therapy. And that saved our marriage, a third person to be able to hold the bigger picture of our relationship, to be able to call each of us out on our bullshit, and to hold this bigger field of love, because 2 people alone in a relationship is just so difficult. So we had therapy. We've gotten coaching. What do you need in this moment? Or maybe it's something that you need for yourself. Maybe you need you time, right? Maybe you're in a big situation, let's take it off of the love relationship right now. You're in a deep relationship with a friend, and there was just something that you didn't see eye to eye on, and it feels totally unresolved. Maybe you actually need to say, what I need to feel supported right now is a week to just digest this, to feel it, to move my emotions. If you need tools on moving your emotions, go back a few days to the emotions video that I shared, and you got some tools in there. And then can we come back to this in a week? I just feel too charged right now. Or maybe what I need to feel supported is to go for a walk in this moment and come back to this conversation. Maybe what I need right now is that we're actually going to close our relationship for 3 months so that we can focus on feeling more safe within our relationship. So many things. Your needs are really important. Yes, so those are these 3 questions and how they can relate to more personal relationship. Okay, I'm going to pop in the comments here again. Boiled sushi, thanks for showing up every day, by the way, and love having you here. You have to think more about these questions. Yeah, just apply them, use them in any situation. They're so good. Okay, love this question. What are we aligned on? What are we celebrating? Yes, so important. It's so easy to see the problems, right? What's not working. And that doesn't create an environment of feeling empowered and radiant. That just often leaves us feeling like nothing is working. So remember, empowered, radiant women aren't stuck in their head in a big loop all the time. Of course this happens, but then we need to have tools to emerge from that feeling more empowered. Yes? Okay, and CA Love, I love that. Yeah, amazing. Okay, so I hope that these 3 questions were helpful. Let me know if they were. Let me know if you end up using them in your life. Send me a DM, comment on this video. I read every single one of the comments and try and respond. So it'd be a pleasure to hear how this works for you. I think that's it for now. Again, if you want to come to Radiance, grab your ticket. If you need a ticket link, just comment Radiance. We'll send one to you. If you want to be a part of Alchemy Mini Mind this year with a small group of women to get some mentorship from me and your sisters, DM me the word alchemy and I'll drop you a voice note and share you more about that. And then last thing, Untamed. It's so good. Seriously, I wish every single woman on this planet could do Untamed. It's that good. So if you want to join me in Calgary, easy international flights fly there as well if you're out of town. 5-day retreat. It's going to be May 9th to 13th for level 1 and then May 16th to 20th for level 2. So lots of great things coming up. Have any questions? You know how to find me, and we will tune in tomorrow for another day of Radiance Activations. I'll see you then. Bye for now.